I don't even know whether to say good evening, good morning, or good night. I don't know which one it is. And I suspect I probably won't have a lot of people in here. I understand. Um, but I did want to do this video. It is an update on everything that went on with the cussing overseer Tariq, that got upset with Bishop Lawrence Boyd, and I think this is in New Jersey, at a church service where Overseer Tariq was using Bishop Boyd's church space for a service. And there was someone else that was the honoree, they said. Y'all have to explain to me what an honoree is. I know what an honoree is, but as far as service, what they meant in this particular service, what it was. But this is Robert Hanson James, Hassan James, interviewing Bishop Boyd, and Bishop Lawrence Boyd is going to talk about what happened in that service before and after, during, leading up to this whole thing turning into a cussing out session. So again, this is Bishop Boyd with Robert Hanson James, Hassan, maybe it's just Hassan, Hassan James, and Edwina Stansberry. He is in the studio with them talking about the situation where the overseer got upset with him and cussed him out. Now, I did want to say that Overseer Tariq White did offer. I know there's another video that went viral all on TikTok with him cussing some more after the service, but he came to himself and he said he's spoken with his senior statesman in the Hebrew faith and have acknowledged his wrongdoing in the entire situation. And as you can see there, this is a statement of apology. I apologize to the Most High and to the host pastor at which my behavior was exhibited in his house before the eyes of the people. I humbly submit to the advice of the senior statesman that I would no longer speak or acknowledge this situation. I ask that you pray for me during this time. So I did want to say that Overseer Tariq White did offer an apology for this incident, but I want to play this video. So I just got off. Go check out Larry Reed, of course. Check out Jay Wilson. Jay Wilson had talked about it tonight on his live. Tonight being it's Tuesday night, really very early Wednesday morning. But Jay Wilson did a live on it. Very good discussion on this. So go check out Jay Wilson, Dr. Pastor Wilson. But let me go ahead and start this so it don't go too long. Please hit that like button.
Talk to him for a minute. It ain't even dirty. It was across the globe, and it's been viral. Even the likes of not Carlton Banks has reenacted this incident that happened at your church. Now, one thing about things like this, we can all talk about it, but nobody ever knows the whole story, or you know what I'm saying. But now we have you in the building, and I thank you for taking time out of your schedule.
Hey KC, hey Perkin Love. I got 8 people in the chat. Y'all please hit that like button. Those of you who have been in my lives before, when I'm doing a reaction live, y'all know I'm gonna stop every now and then and say a little bit. Again, this is James. I think it's Hanson. I forgot his last name already, y'all. Speaking there in the studio. You can see there is WIMG AM 1300. So please support this radio station, WIMG AM 1300. I'm gonna try to find the station link and link y'all to it so that everybody can go and make sure they support this man, this lady in this station.
I know you're going away for the holidays. You took time out of your schedule to come speak to us, so thank you.
Before we do that, I do want to give credit also to Larry Reed Live, because I did hear the story when he talked to you. And he actually picked up the phone and called you live. And so I was able to hear more of your side, but not everybody. Well, you looking at Larry, you might, but I don't want to not include and give credit where credit is due with Larry.
Everybody's already saying when I posted this earlier, they was like, "Oh shoot, you compete with Larry," and Larry's a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
Larry had him on the phone. We got him in person. I'll text Larry later.
Yes, you text him later and tell him.
But welcome to the show. So, of course, you have to be living under a rock if you don't know what happened. Now, another thing is when you see a one-clip video, you can make all types of assumptions, and people were doing that. They were in the comments saying, "Oh, what happened here? Well, if they rented out the church, they can stay how long they want." And then other people were saying, "No, that is that man's house." And then other people were saying, "Well, it's the Lord's house. It ain't his." Oh, so many different opinions. So can you clear up exactly what took place on that day and how everything transpired?
All right, so the actual occurrence happened on Saturday evening.
That was another thing. People were saying Sunday morning.
Yes.
Some people were saying Sunday night. Thank you.
So it actually happened on Saturday evening. We had allowed someone to use our church, and I just really want to set the record and set the pace correctly. We have another location, which is located on Montgomery Street, which was our old church location.
Okay.
So some were saying, well, you have this guy renting your church on a regular basis. No, that's not true. Anybody that ever used our church on a regular basis used our Montgomery Street location.
Okay.
This incident happened at our Humboldt Street location. So our old location is down our learning center. That's on Montgomery Street. So I just wanted to set that correct. So this happened on Saturday. The individuals, they had a set time. I'm real keen on time. Anybody that knows me inside, outside of church or work, my staff, they know I'm really keen on time with a little flexibility because I understand things do occur. However, they were scheduled to come into the building at between 11 a.m. to 12 noon to set up, to decorate, whatever may have you. No one showed up.
Okay.
So to me, that was already strike one. But because we had an agreement for us to come back around 6:15, 6:30 for the musicians to come back to set their equipment up, and then whoever's supposed to set from 11 to 12, you can come in the evening.
Okay.
Service still scheduled to start at 7 p.m. The musicians were there on time. Okay. Now, granted, a lot of times musicians get a bad name. They're always late. They come to our service. They were there on time, ready to go at 7 p.m.
And these were their musicians, correct?
These were individuals that the honoree hired.
Gotcha.
So they were there in their proper place, ready to start. 7 o'clock came, 7:10 came, 7:15 came, 7:20, 7:30. Now we're into 7:40. And so I said, well, 10 o'clock going to be here soon.
Right.
Nothing has started. The musicians is there. The praise and worship leader is there. The MC is there. And at that moment, the honoree had left out. I don't know if she went out to the car, whatever may have you. So I went and I asked the presider, I said, at 7:45, we're going to go ahead and start with prayer. I said, I can open up with prayer. We can have scripture. The praise leader is here. Therefore, we can get started because at this point, people had started to leave.
Now, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. So you say you began to start with prayer. Now, were you scheduled to do any of this? Were you scheduled to be a part of this service?
No, I was not. So that's why I humbled myself and I went to the presider.
Okay, got you.
And, said what I just said. So I opened up the service with prayer, scripture. I turned the service therefore over to the presider or the MC of the service. He introduced the praise and worship leader, and at that time the honoree came back in. We had already discussed her using our stand in the rear where our audio stuff is at to do her live of the service. So I had said, you can give me your phone, I can put it on our stand, everything like that. Service going on, the young man, he's singing, and everything is sort of, flowing great. About 8:15 comes, there's no preacher. And so the young man, he's singing his heart out, singing great songs and everything like that. The musicians are playing skillfully. About 8:15, I noticed a car pulling up outside. I saw the lights where I was sitting at. So I went outside and I said, rolling the window down, sign. I said, God bless you. Are you the visiting preacher? The young lady said, no, but he's here in the car. I said, okay, great. I said, you can just back up and go into the parking lot. Whenever you finish, you can just come through these doors here and we'll sit you.
Okay.
I go back into the church. I give the thumbs up to the MC to let him know the preacher is here. So therefore, you can, either you want to end praise and worship or whatever you want to do as far as the rest of the order of service. I go and sit back down where I was sitting at in the rear of the church. 10 minutes go by. So I said, well, let me go and make sure, the guy, they're okay because they had to come into the building. Finally, around 8:30, they walk in. I said, God bless you again. They spoke back to me. The pastor had asked where was the restroom. I said, it's right here to the right. I said, sir, whenever you finish, you're more than welcome to go to the pulpit. I'm just going to ask that you sit either on the left or the right purple chair, not to sit in the middle chair.
Okay.
And in my upbringing, that's a custom.
Yes.
People usually don't sit in the pastor's chair.
That's correct. That's how I grew up as well.
And that's how I was brought up. So being as though.
Now, does anybody else have that custom? Hey, Ray Black, thank y'all for joining me this early in the morning. What we say down south, y'all done came in here before day. So does anybody else have this thing at your church or the organization that you in, though nobody sits in the pastor's chair? It's almost like when you're growing up at the dinner table, nobody can sit in daddy's chair. But I have never heard of that in the church. Not really, not that I paid attention to. But anyway, hey Dee Dee, thank you for joining. So you was raised with that custom. Okay, so it sounds pretty popular. It's funny how we do how things can be exactly the same throughout churches all over the United States and in black churches period everywhere, and then some things can be so different because I don't think I ever heard of that, or maybe I didn't pay attention. Okay, so you never sit in. So is this a Kojic thing? Because according to Jay Wilson, he's apostolic. And I'm apostolic. Well, I no longer attend the apostolic, but okay, well, let me get back so this don't be long. Y'all know I like to stop and talk.
You're coming into my house. I just want to make sure, because I'm not going to be on the pulpit, that you understand that rule here in our house.
Did he receive that?
Looking back, I'm going to say no.
Gotcha.
So he went to the bathroom. He went on up to the pulpit. He never sat in neither one of the purple chairs. He sat off on the side. So on the side of our pulpit, we have like some gold chairs, just covers over regular chairs for extra preachers and so on like that. So he sat there the whole service. And so I didn't pay any attention. I just kept on doing, enjoying service, praising God. Fast forward, we got to about 9:20. He got up to do the offering. 9:40, finished on the offering. It wasn't a lot of
preach yet?
No, he didn't preach yet.
Okay.
But even getting up at 9:20, the presider reminded him about the time because he referenced it. I'm on a limited time. I'm on the A train. So I'm going to do the offering, and then we can go right into the word and everything like that. So he was made aware of the time frame that he had.
Gotcha.
So 9:40 comes, offering is done. The live was cut off because he had wanted the lady to check the Cash App because I was using her phone. So she came back, cut the phone off, and then whatever was on the Cash App, reported it to him. 9:40, he started, preaching and everything like that. So to get to the major part everybody's seen on social media at 10 o'clock, I'm still in the back of the church. I'm like, okay, it's 10 o'clock. I'll grace him, about 5-10 minutes. Even though he didn't ask permission. The way I was brought up, if you go over your time or think you can go, you need to ask the head of the house, is it okay?
Sure.
Not saying it's right, but to me it's just order, and that's order in our house, and that's what we follow.
And he hadn't preached yet?
He started to minister.
Okay.
But like I said, by this time, 10 o'clock, he had asked the young lady if he can have this other gentleman that came with him to pray for her. And so she stood up and he started praying. So this whole while, from 10 o'clock until 10:15, they're praying with this young.
Okay. The service starts at 7. Hello, Royal Court. Who did I miss? T-Mac, hello. Thank you for coming in. So the service starts at 7. The musicians are on time. And they go ahead and start playing, I guess. And then, now on Larry Reed, he mentioned some praise dancers. But I didn't hear him mention it here. I'm trying to remember the order of service because I think I missed something. So okay. According to KC, those who watching the replay, according to KC, did the musicians come at 7:45, or was the musicians there on time at 7 o'clock? So the service. Hey, Bonnie Bell. So he rented this place. So this place they reserved this place. I shouldn't say rent because it's a church, but they reserved this church for 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Okay, from 7 to 10 o'clock. The service started late. The musicians got there. Okay, the musicians were on time. What time did the service start, Casey? So the service started on time, but the speaker for the service was late. And he went to the parking lot and he spoke briefly with the speaker. So the service started at 7 o'clock. And you mean to tell me that the speaker didn't get up there till 9:40? He got up there at 9:40. And even when he got up there at 9:40 and started ministering, he went to pray for someone before. So he never got the opportunity to preach. No wonder he was pissed off. Okay, so they started at 7 o'clock. The musicians was on time. The poster started at 7 o'clock. The pastor was there. The bishop was there to open up his church at 7 o'clock. The musicians was there on time, but the service didn't start till 7:45. So where was the honoree? What time did the honoree get there? Whatever that is. Y'all don't have to tell me what the honoree is supposed to in the church. But what time did the honoree? Let me go back.
Lady, the young man, and two other ladies are praying with this young lady, but in the background you hear they have all of this shouting music going on. So I'm still cool, calm, collective in the back of the church, and so after 15 minutes I'm like, let me ease my way up because I done gave you 15 minutes over the set time. Right. So I goes up, not down the middle aisle, I goes around the side of the church, go to the pulpit, and I stand in front of my chair. Okay. So where my chair is at, the podium is right here. Sure. So I stood there for 5 minutes. So now you're 20 minutes over the allotted time that you were made aware of before you grabbed that microphone. Right. So at 10:20, I had said to the musicians, I said, I'm going to give y'all 1 minute, and I need y'all to stop playing. At this point, they still praying. At this point, the shouting music is still going on through the house speakers, the monitor, and they're still there over this lady, 20-something minutes later. Okay. Right? I understand it takes time and everything like that. However, when you are praying for somebody, it's not time to be shouting. Right. Amen. We're supposed to be worshiping and collectively, even if it's not my service, if you are a person that's operating in deliverance, as you were trying to demonstrate, you really should know those things. But for whatever reason, they just wanted to shout at that moment. And so it came 1 minute, 10:21, and I said, all right, and we're going to stop. The musicians stopped playing. You said this in the mic? No, I didn't have the microphone at this time. Okay. At this time, I didn't have the microphone. Okay. So the musician stopped playing, and so he kept on doing what he was doing, and so he looked at me. And at this time, the podium is here, I'm here, our musician's over here. Mm-hmm. And so we're like side by side like this. He still has the microphone. And so he looked and he said, I need to preach in a church where I'm free to let the Lord use me. And so he gave me a side eye to say, because I feel a spirit creeping up on me. Okay. And at that moment, that's when it
went down. It's about to go down. So let me read the chat. Casey said that the honoree was late. And so was the P&W? What's the P&W? Team. Oh, the praise and worship team was late. Y'all, we got to do better in the black church. We got to do better. We got to be on time. We got to be orderly. We got to be decent. We got to be organized. We got to be on time, people. How you know that you the praise and worship team? You supposed to be setting the atmosphere, getting the spirits right in there, and you late. And the speaker, I just think that a lot of people say, well, he was the speaker and he had to speak somewhere else and he was coming from somewhere else. And so he was late. I just think that if you are the speaker, when you're the speaker, you're the leader of this thing, you should be the main one on time if nobody else is. Praise and worship team, you should be on time. These people was just getting it going. at 9:40, and the service was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. Now it's about to go down because attitudes. See what happens when you're out of order and you're late. Then you leave room for a bunch of attitudes.
I grabbed the microphone because, one, how dare you come into someone's house?
Hey, Katie.
And you're over your time, and you're disrespecting the leader of the house.
Right.
And so when I grabbed the microphone, I was not saying that the young lady cannot still get prayed for. At that moment, let's calm this music down and let's join together, because it was so much. They're here in this corner, this person trying to shout, and this person talking. It was too much distraction going on. So she wasn't going to get nowhere really. That's why it's taking that long.
Right.
And I'm a firm believer, not that I'm saying that it doesn't take out all day, all night. However, if the atmosphere is set correctly and everybody is working collectively together, it can happen almost instantaneously at the moment, and stuff like that. And so I said what I said, and he proceeded on to cuss and fuss and everything like that. And so then a young lady that came with him, the lady that you're saying, Tyreek, I think her name is.
Tyreek, stop.
Right. She came in with him.
Okay.
She was in the same car with him when he pulled up to the church.
Gotcha. So
And
she
they
was the
all
one in the car?
Correct.
Okay.
And so they all left out of the church and everything like that. And then looking over the video, the person who recorded, they stopped the video. And so what I said after that, I said, listen, all right, I was brought up under the First Antioch Church, under the late William A. Clark, right up here on Pennington Avenue. And I said, some of you go to Trenton Church of Christ under the late Pastor Morrow, where my grandmother served for 61 years. So y'all know order and protocol.
Ain't no order.
I said, this church, this man was an hour and a half late, was given a time frame, and went over 21 minutes. I said,
So those of you who were in Jay Wilson's live, it just ended about 30 minutes ago, and we were on the panels. Me, well, I'm not going to start naming names because I'm going to forget somebody, but I will name one name. L. Teddy made a lot of good points. L. Teddy, I don't know whether y'all know him, but if you ain't subscribed to him, go check out L. Teddy. But they were asking, well, did he have a discussion with the speaker? Did he know? Was the speaker aware that the service was supposed to end at 10 o'clock? According to him, he went out to the car and he did have, yes, govern yourself accordingly. Thank you, Dee. He did have a discussion with the speaker. He even told him, don't sit in that chair. Now, do I agree with don't sit in that chair? That's not either here or there because it wasn't my church. But he said, he told him, don't sit in the pastor's chair. And the service is supposed to end at 10. And all that, he was so, according to him, so this is one side. And unfortunately, Overseer Tariq said that he wasn't going to, I think his name is Tariq White. He said he wasn't going to, he has apologized, and he said he won't be discussing this anymore, and I understand that. But, so we're only hearing one side. To be fair, we're just hearing Bishop Boyd's side. But according to Bishop Boyd, he told them what time the service was supposed to end. So he was aware that the service was supposed to end at 10 o'clock. But at 9:40, you're just starting to minister and you're praying for somebody and you haven't even preached yet. Also, the person that was in the car with him was the honoree. So she knew the time because she was the one who reserved the church. So you knew it was from 7 to 10. Here's what we do. And y'all can disagree with me because ain't no right and wrong. Ain't nobody right and ain't nobody wrong in this. I think, like we said in Jay Wilson's live, it was a lot of things that happened out of order and a lot of people out of order. But here's the thing. Had you went down to the convention center or the hotel banquet or anywhere else and rented a space from 7 to 10, then you would have been out of there by 10. So why do you feel like you can take advantage of this man's church and go beyond that time? Let's see what, hey CK and everybody that's coming in. It don't matter. At this point, old boy was out of order based on the time and contractual agreement. This was business. Then he got the nerve to be mad. Service had an ending. Yes, I agree. We can't be even on time for God, honey. I don't even know, Katie. I'm sure all of this was verbal. It probably wasn't any written contract, but yeah, according to Bishop Boyd, the agreement was that the service was on from 7 to 10, and this was on a Saturday night. This wasn't a Sunday night. This was a Saturday night. So this is a Saturday night where. And I know a lot of people is upset with Bishop Boyd for saying, this is my house, this is my house, this is my house. But I'm assuming what he mean was, I'm responsible for this church. I'm the, pastor and bishop of this church. And so he know that tomorrow is Sunday. So if it's Saturday night, tomorrow we have service here on Sunday. And I got to get up and do my service here on Sunday. The agreement was for it to end at 10 o'clock. It's 9:40, and y'all just now getting the party started. Okay? The DJ just showed up. Let's see. But let's go back.
Have to in a black church. That's why we need to start on time. It's okay to sing. My church is a praising church. We love to sing, shout, all of that stuff. But the word is the most important part. Sure. And I had to speak at a morning service, and I knew that when we accepted him to come to use the building. Mm-hmm. So that has nothing to do with it. But the point I want to make regarding that is that morning pastor down in Willingboro told me their service ends at 10 o'clock.
Amen.
So in my mind, whatever I had on my notes, whatever I had, Lord, I need to be done by 10 o'clock so I can walk in obedience. Because anything after 10 o'clock, without that pastor permission, is out of order, is you're in disobedience and everything like that. So that's pretty much how that went. And those of us that remained, we stayed an extra 30, 40 minutes. And yes, I did apologize to the young lady. Clarify this, she was not a member of the visiting preacher's church.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
she's not a member. She's not a member. I called her back into the church after speaking to her boyfriend. And when I tried to apologize, she said, Bishop, you don't have to apologize. You were not wrong. Amen. We knew the time. He was disobedient. He was cussing and fussing at the preaching and prophesying and speaking in tongues. You don't owe me no apology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, I just wanted to make sure that you were fine.
Yeah.
So she stayed for a while. I therefore went outside into the parking lot. I seen the honoree. I attempted to apologize to her. She said the same thing. She said she was going to reach out to that individual and the individual that connected us to have the service.
Where was he at this time? Did he leave?
He had already left. This is like 30 minutes or so after he already left. As soon as he did all that cussing, he stormed out the church and then got in the car and they skirted off.
Okay.
And, called it a day. And so after that, we ended up leaving about 11 o'clock because the musicians unpacking their stuff and all of that stuff. And literally, we all left out of the parking lot together. Okay. And we at that moment, the issue was resolved until the next day.
Until it wasn't.
And I'm like heading back from Willingboro to our church. I'm like, who keep on tagging me and stuff on Facebook early this morning? And when I opened up, I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's all I could have said was, oh my God.
I'm sure you got many calls from all
over the country. All over the country. But I want to reiterate this, that the reason why I agreed to come here, it wasn't to bash anybody. Those people that knows me inside and outside of church know that our church, our organization, our church, we do feedings, we do a food pantry, we run a preschool, we do after school programs, summer camp, all of these things, community events. To be a small church, a small organization, we always gave back and will continue to give back. The next day after this was all viral, I was right back there on my post giving out food pantry on my break. Because I got to stay focused on Jesus. And if this is what God has called us to do, it's not intended to badmouth anybody, but it's to let the world know, not just the church world, but the world collectively, we need to have more classes on anger management. We need to have more classes in church order, business order, and etiquette. Because we teach what you do and allow in church is what people do inside of the world. So if you come late to church, most likely you're coming late to your job, but you praying, Lord, give me a raise, but you can't come into work on time. And so that's how we teach our
Bishop,
people.
you stepping on my toes.
I'm sorry.
Bishop, what you doing?
So we have to have those classes, and we can have those classes in love.
Right.
Amen.
Because timing is everything, and we believe that if you say church is going to start, it is 1-2 people starting. That's what old church taught us.
Yeah.
And most of us testify we were brought up in old church,
Yeah.
but we lose that part. We're waiting for the crowd.
Right.
Yes.
So there
Crowd
are 2 or
never
3
come.
gathered in his name, right?
Right.
People want a crowd, though.
Correct. If the crowd never come, we proceed on.
Now, somebody had a question in the comments earlier.
Yes, sir.
They said some people were questioning why Bishop Boyd didn't address this issue privately instead of in the pulpit. Can you address that?
Yes, I could. So, once again, keep in mind, before the preacher got the microphone, he was forewarned and reminded by the presider of the time frame he had. Mm-hmm. There's a big clock in the back of our church where you can see the time, and it's 7 minutes fast on purpose.
See, right, exactly, because you know our people.
On purpose. On purpose. So, when you seen that clock go past that 10 o'clock, you should have said, okay, I'm done. I'm over my time. Or, Bishop, can I get some more time? So the reason why I did not address it afterwards, because it wasn't going to end.
Right.
If I didn't say anything,
Yeah,
it would have never ended, because once again, it's now 10:21. So at the clock you're looking at.
I agree with him. Had he not got up there and said something, had he kind of waved his hand, touched his wrist to do the time little signal, and had he whispered in his ear, I believe that, and Lord forgive me if I'm wrong, and Overseer Tariq forgive me if I'm wrong, I believe they would have ignored him and kept on going, because again, they was just getting in gear too. They was just getting in gear. The music, like he said, the music was going, folks was shouting, they had folks up to the altar. Overseer hadn't even, he ministered a little bit, but he hadn't really preached yet. Honey, it was just about to jump off. So, that service was about to go to about 12 o'clock. Had he not stopped it. And I understand and I respect that people disagree with me. I'm not one that feel like people have to agree with me. I understand and I respect if you disagree with me. But had he not stopped that service probably would have went to about 12 o'clock. That would have been an all-night party.
It's saying 10:28.
Gotcha.
But if you was told 10 o'clock, at what point were you going to end?
Amen.
Oh, let me say this. Now, he is shady. Bishop Boyd got a little shade in him, and he's condescending. I will say that.
When God in, when were you going to end? That's the difference, and people missing that part. It wasn't intended to quench the service. The point was to let you know right now, all of this out of order. You're disobedient to the time frame given to you. We need to come back into order and establish order in the house, because this is the house of order.
Yeah. Now you're a pastor and a bishop in the Lord's church. You have discernment. Did you feel like from the very beginning that something about this service was a little off? Like, did you see that early on? Especially maybe like when he came in, was his, confidence off, the spirit off a little bit?
So prior to him coming in, whenever the honoree came in, I don't know like what was going on. Some people supposed to be there that wasn't there, and so after I, showed her where she can go and change everything like that, I just kept.
Because he seemed like he was ready to pop off. Mm-hmm. Like one thing I noticed from the video, it was just like he was waiting,
angry, right?
Yeah,
right. And so what I said from the beginning when the host came in, she said some people supposed to be there, and I said, listen, stay focused on Jesus. We're here to celebrate God and you for this event. Stay focused on Jesus. You can go upstairs, relax yourself, get dressed, whatever, because she had came in, but she wasn't in her outfit. Mm-hmm. So her and her assistant went up, did what they did, whatever may have you. But stay focused on Jesus. But even with that, it was just some people kept on, when we're going to start, and this, I need to live at this time. All of this sort of mumbling and complaining. And once again, to me, that's what happens. You give space for the devil whenever you don't start on time. So if we would have started on time, it wasn't no space for anybody to question when we're going to start. Mm-hmm. Even if the preacher was late. If praise and worship would have started at the said time, when the preacher came in at 8:30, by 8:40, You should have been up.
Yeah,
We know you
absolutely.
late. We're going to give you 10 minutes to take a little breath, get a little cup of water, but we're going to put you up by 8:40. So therefore, you still have an hour and 20 minutes. So if you're a long-winded, a short-winded, you like to prophesy,
Right.
you still have ample time and you're operating in obedience.
Absolutely. Another thing I noticed, and I guess it's the way I grew up in church, when this was happening, the first thing I thought of within the first 30 seconds was, where is the security? Where is the church security? Because I feel like you should not have to even fight that battle. I was just like, yo, where the goons at? Where the church goons?
Oh,
Like,
goodness.
I mean, that's the first thing I thought of. Like, I feel like you as the bishop should not even have to address that. Like, he should have been taken out, and they should have been that. Not taken out.
Yeah, yes, you did. Yeah.
The thing about it is, he escorted himself out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
So
did.
it wasn't, no one didn't have to say, okay, look, you need to leave, because he escorted himself out and he got in his car and they went on, and, you know, that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
So
It was just too aggressive for me. Like, all of the like, that just was like, in the pulpit, like, in the Lord's house? Like,
right.
dude.
He said, don't touch my The man said, don't touch my Listen, so I think that Bishop Boyd don't need to rent out his space because he has way too many pet peeves and little quirky things that bother him in the way he thinks things should be. I think that if you're going to rent out your space, if you rent your space to me, and I got the space from 7 to 10 o'clock, I don't need you there telling me how the service should go. You may not agree with everything and how things should go. You may believe that guitars shouldn't Casey, that's your favorite part. Don't put your hands on my you may believe guitars shouldn't be in the church, but you rent the space out to me, I'm gonna have 5 guitars there. That's just an example. I'm just saying. I think that Bishop Boyd was a little too involved when he actually rented out the space, in a sense.
Like, he was so bothered. Would you ever sit down with this young man and have a one-on-one
Yes.
if the opportunity?
Yes, and like I told Larry, and like I told even anybody else that asked me, if he would have stayed and sat down, my response would have been to him, and I say this to anybody knows me with timing. I am flexible, but let's keep it real. I simply would have told him, as from one pastor to another pastor, we supposed to set the bar.
Yeah.
We understand things happen, traffic, we understand all of those things. But it wasn't no traffic, you come in an hour and 15 minutes late, and then you sit in the parking lot for an additional 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so
crazy.
going forward, I can't tell you what to do, but let me look at it from a member side, not even as a pastor side right now. How would you feel if your members are coming in an hour and 15 or hour 30 minutes late? So whatever you set up as a pastor, usually that's what the membership follow.
Yeah.
And I would have said it with a smile on my face, because I'm a smiler, and we would have shook hands, embraced each other.
Yes.
Have a blessed evening.
Yeah. Man, you are a man full of grace. I'm gonna
Yes,
tell you.
he is.
Watch your step when you walk out.
Yes, that's what he said. God bless you.
This man's spirit. I said, man,
So,
like
listen.
you didn't break.
Listen, about the whole step thing, because I seen some comments, folks like you trying to throw shade at the end. Our church custom is this. We have enough lighting in the front and the back, but sometimes church folks be talking, not paying attention, and church folks sue. So at the end of
Listen,
all of our services,
I've witnessed it.
Yes.
at the end of all of our services, that is our custom. To say, don't be caught up in the spirit.
Right, watch your step.
Watch your step and have a blessed evening. Blessings, I respond to everybody. Blessings. I don't really say good morning, I say blessings. And so everybody that's a part of my church, a part of our organization that knows me, that's if I'm saying blessings and you send it to me, we're sending blessings back and forth to each other. So it wasn't said to be smart or throw shade, but in the midst of you cussing and fussing, I want you to pay attention to that step.
Yeah.
Because if you fall, I'm going to put you in the nation. You know, so, and that's what we do at the end of all of our services. There wasn't no shade thrown, but like I said, I would definitely have a conversation with him. I was actually expecting for whoever is over him, his overseer or whatever, with all of this stuff viral, to reach out. Because if that was the other side, I know my presiding bishop would have said, boy, listen.
Yes, he would have.
We need to call this individual, and we need to see how can you two connect to apologize or whatever the case
absolutely.
may be, even if you felt as though you was right, to keep peace amongst the brothers and sisters of Christ. But no one has reached out. He did send an apology on social media.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
And so someone had forwarded it to me. However, I don't have any ill feelings against this young man. I pray nothing but blessings and peace upon him. But on the same token, if you meant it from your heart, with hundreds of thousands of people viewing that clip, you could have said, hey, what's that man's number? Because you know my church is that.
Right.
But you haven't done it as of yet for whatever.
Now, I believe this was done, neither Bishop Boyd or Overseer Tyreek White meant for this to go viral. Somebody in the church recorded this. Y'all, if y'all hearing all kinds of noises and stuff, because I'm doing this as I'm laying down in my bed. I'm sure some of y'all are too. It's nearly 4 a.m. in the morning. But they didn't mean for it to go viral, but somebody went live or somebody hit their camera. That's the world we live in today. It used to be small churches, something happened, it went viral by telephone. But now it's going within minutes. Within minutes, you can have 5,000 people know what went on within minutes or even more. So because it was shown publicly, I think that any apologies and resolutions should also be shown publicly. When these two men, come together and say, hey, I apologize. I was rude for just, stopping the service. Maybe I should have tried to whisper to you or something. Other guy, I'm sorry I cussed you. I'm sorry I cussed the dog out of you and told you don't touch my all of that should probably be, somewhat of a public apology, in my opinion. Again, I could be wrong. I'm just saying. One other thing I want to say, I'm going to start the video back. I can't stand. Now, I was many things in the church. Y'all know I was married to a preacher. I was a good old usher. I was a choir director. And as an usher, I could not stand for a minister to come in all late. Then they want to be escorted here and escorted there and all of that. This is church. We're not celebrities around here. This is church. And you're the leader. So lead by example. If you come in late, don't disrupt the service by making me walk you all the way up to the pulpit. Find you a seat in the pews and sit down and don't disrupt the service. I can't stand that. They said the honoree got there. The honoree was an hour and a half late, and she still got to get dressed. Why you ain't come to church dressed? Anyway, let me stop fussing.
Reason, and if he doesn't do it, it's well. It's well. I'm a peaceful person, and I love peace. Anybody that's around me, I love peace. I don't like drama. I love peace, and that's what we got to show. God's love, and yeah, that's where we stand at regarding that whole situation.
I think even in this though, it's a lesson. It's a lesson for the black church the church at large, but specifically the black church,
right? That
you have to respect order and you have to respect time. Sometimes we just think, we're going to go to church. We're going to have church, and we're going to be there all night. And no, let's stop treating church like that. Do what you got to do. Get in and get out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was a lesson for just, the black church at large. That, you got to respect time and order and don't cuss in the pulpit in the church. That's just
at all.
Yes. It made me cringe because
he used strong words. Strong words. Yeah.
About your house.
Yes.
That's why I said what I said. That to me, this is really. I'm an educator. I'm a therapist by trade, and so to me, this is really a teachable moment for everybody, the body at large. Because once again, if we're teaching time management, if we're teaching ways to follow the fruits of the Spirit, we preach about it. Yeah. We have the 9 fruits of the Spirit service, but are we really applying it? And once again, no one's perfect, including myself. We all sin and fall short of the glory of God, like the Word of God says. But there are some things that you can work on. Because for me to keep my composure, I tell you this: when I went home, and I said, Tosh, my wife, I said, the preacher cussed at me. I only heard the one cuss word.
Which one?
Whenever I tried to hang.
No, sir. He cussed you out. He cussed you out.
him
Oh,
the towel because I took a
Don't
pause.
touch my.
Right, because I took a pause.
You said it's bothering.
I didn't hear all the other cuss words
sorry.
until I saw the video. I said, he was cussing.
He was cussing.
But
Yeah.
I thank God, because if I would have heard all of those hardcore cuss words, I'm not a cursor. I don't care if everybody, talk about me, go on Facebook, so whatever.
You can tell you're not a cursor because you didn't say cusser.
Yeah.
You said I'm not a cursor.
Cursor.
Even know you.
Right, because if he was a cusser, those words.
You're not going to take me out of character. Why? Because
Amen.
I have too much to lose. Not just the church. I've been pastoring for 13 plus years, been in church all my life. But I am an executive director of a nonprofit here in the city of Trenton. So beyond the church, I got a business that I'm running, and so even the parents of the center, they're like, you know what, you kept your composure. And to have the testimonies that come in, if that was me, I couldn't do it. But it's showing me I need to pray more so I can have more patience. So even in all of this, to me, God is getting some glory in the midst of all of this. And so that's my goal, that God would get the glory out of my life and anybody that's attached to me.
Well, Bishop, I'm going to tell you, on this Zoom, on this live, I want to say at least 30, 35 people saying that they praise you and that if it was them, they would have failed the test. Okay, there's quite a few that said, and some of them are preachers. And
I'm going to sign up for my training class. On patience.
But seriously, I'm glad you
Really?
did that because you went viral for something like this. But now we need you to go viral for another reason. Talk about these classes and talk about your church so people can come and visit your church.
So our church name is Chosen Generation Praise and Worship Center, and we're located at 100 Humboldt Street, Trenton, New Jersey. Service starts at 10:15.
Be on time.
Be on time.
okay, you're going to miss something.
You're gonna miss something. 10. Right. You will catch us where we're at. We're not going to wait for you to get there. We'll allow you to join in where we're at. So we're there on Sundays at 10:15. Beyond the church, we also, like I said, run a nonprofit which is called Help Self. And with Help Self, we have a licensed child care center located at 215 North Montgomery Street, which is our old church location. So we do accept all child care subsidy from the county, the state. We do service children 2.5 to 13. So we have in-person preschool, we have after-school programming, and soon in January we'll be registering for our summer programming. We do food pantry. We just recently did a gas giveaway. Now, mind you, we are a small church, we're a small organization, but we are a giving church, a giving organization. So we partner up with the gas station, I think it's called the Golf, used to be Old Getty on Pennington Avenue.
Yes.
And we gave out $400 worth of gas.
Wow.
Bishop, you didn't call me.
I had it all on social media. They were calling everybody.
Next time.
That's right. I missed that. I wasn't on time.
Right. And our thing is we just want to really blanket the city with love. And that's why we do outside of church ministry, while we do the other things. Next month, we're going to plan to go to 2 laundromats, one in the urban community and one outside of the Trenton area, and just bless some families with laundry cards. One, because people are struggling. And once again, even though we are a small church, because someone had referenced that, the church need money. Every church need money.
Hello.
Every organization need money.
Even the mega churches.
Right. But we're not desperate for money. As you see, we're doing all these other, community events and so on like that, though. But it's more blessing to give than it is to receive. Absolutely. So that's our motto. The more love that you show to people.
Amen.
The Bible says, with love and kindness have I drawn thee. Yeah. They may never come to our church, and I'm fine with that. But if I can plant that seed, and now they go over to Minister Beanie's church, and the pastor water that seed, and that seed begin to grow, guess what? I'm still getting a blessing from God.
That's right.
Amen.
And that's how we live our life, and that's every day. There's no come on, no put on when we go into the church. This is every day for us.
I want to say my pastor really did. I can look at y'all. My pastor just jumped on us about not being on time, and he said, "You teaching Sunday school,
right?
So you coming in at 10 means you're late."
That's right.
He just said, literally. Right. So now I'm hearing it for the 18th time. So if next week I'll be.
Time,
you're late. That's it.
Because you're not ready to start.
Yes.
You got to go to the bathroom. Listen, personal story real quickly. I told my grandson, Son was going out of school. I said, I would hate to leave you, but I'm not going to be late.
Right.
I will come back to get you.
Yes.
You know, because if you're late, how is it fair to all three of you who took out time out of your busy schedule to invite me to come in? We have to learn to respect people's time, because if we go to another race, we're there on time.
Okay.
We're cleaning up on time. We're saying thank you with a smile and being humble. We need to be humble to our own kind.
Yep.
And and that's really the whole point. I'm happy. I'm not happy that this happened, but I am happy that this happened.
Yeah.
Let the church world know that we have to humble ourselves. We have to be teachable across from the pulpit to the door, including myself. But we need to have these classes. Like I said, stay tuned. I'm going to set some classes up, and I'm going to bring some people in far and near to work on these fruits of the Spirit, because we can't be preaching about it and we're not living about it in our actions and our deeds. So,
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Bishop Lawrence Boyd is in the building, and give them your social media so they can follow you on social media.
So on Facebook, it's real simple, Lawrence Boyd. Most of you probably already follow me, especially by now. On Instagram is Bishop Boyd, Our Chosen Generation. And our organizational website is helpself.org. That's helpself.org. And once again, we do provide in-person preschool. So call us 609-638-9097, and we'll love to have a conversation with you.
You said you're a licensed therapist.
So I'm not a licensed therapist. We are a licensed child care center.
Okay.
If y'all hear my stomach growling, I apologize.
Preschool and everything
right.
That. I was a teacher for many years. Correct.
Okay.
Now, did you see the Not Carlton Banks parody?
Oh, that was funny.
My daughter sent that to me, and I said, "What is she sending to me?" And when I opened it up, I was like, "I said, what in the world?" But I thought it was definitely funny. It was definitely funny, and but on the same token, it was just real, because this happened. Not just in the church, it happened in the communities, it happened in families and so on. But at the end of the day, and I don't want to sound so spiritual, but that's just sometimes you know where I go. But love covers a multitude. So if I go outside right now, if I see this young man, I will still speak and say blessings to him with a smile on my face and mean it from my heart. Because it's in my heart to show peace and love to everybody. And what's in your heart is what's going to come out.
That's right.
Amen.
And that's what God wants. And that's what we have to learn as a church, that all of this, bickering, complaining, fussing, and fighting with each other, you Baptist, you Methodist, I'm Pentecostal.
Yes.
Listen, I don't know whether Bishop Boyd have a sense of humor or not, but that parody, yes, Casey, it was hilarious. And then they started fighting at the end. That thing took me out. Now, he's a small he's a small church, and he's out here trying to do some stuff. The church I attend now, like I said, my doctrine, or the doctrine that I follow. Can I say this? In other words, I spent the majority of my adult life in the Pentecostal church. And a good bit of that, a good 15 years of that or more, in the Apostolic Church. Acts 2:38, honey, oneness. And I still believe in the Apostolic Church in Acts 2:38. But I currently go to a Methodist church because at this point in my life, I don't have the tolerance that I used to have. I used to go to church, Sunday school, after Sunday school, praise and worship and devotion and testimony service. And then after that, the choir get up. And then, of course, we still got to have the preacher gonna preach. And then after that, the altar call. And then after that, the pastor closing out. And then you go home or you stay at church and eat. Some of the churches I've been to, I ain't have no head covering. I didn't go to the that particular apostolic. I wasn't a part of the apostolic, but we had to cover our head. But you either stay at church and eat and whatever, or you go home and eat or whatever, and then you come back, and then you have evening service, and maybe even have a little meeting in between that or after that or before that. And then we used to leave there and go find us a midnight musical. Now, that's when I was younger. I'm 51 now. my tolerance is not as long as it used to be. And now I know, to get in there and get what you need to get. And in order for you to keep it, go on and leave. So in all the stuff that used to go on, being late and going long and all that, at 51, my tolerance ain't as good. So now I go to Methodist, where I know that Sunday school is going to end on time. The service is going to start on time. The service is going to end at a decent time. And if we have an afternoon service, you're going to get ample time to go home, eat, freshen up, and come back. And that's going to be done in decent time to where you ain't going to be sitting at work the next day sleepy because you've been in church for 16 hours on Sunday. And not saying anything is wrong with that, because like I said, when I did it, I enjoyed it. I didn't do it because nobody made me. I did it because it was something that I enjoy doing. But now at this point, I need a little bit more order. In all throughout the chat, I have been putting Bishop Boyd's Instagram page, his helpself.org page. If you're like me, I'm gonna go plant a little seed, as we say in church. I'm gonna put a little something to help him do whatever it is. Maybe last time he did $400 in gas. Maybe if I help next time, he can do $650 in gas. To help any way I can. I was saying that I go to a large church, a very large Methodist church, probably the largest church in the city that I live in. And every year around this time, in fact, they did it today. We feed 10,000, not 10,000 people, but 10,000 families. 10,000 families. What we do all throughout the year is we collect the things that we need in order to box it up. And on my community tab, I put a video of it, of us actually at the church boxing everything up and the people coming in to get the food. But we're a large church, so we can do 10,000, right? Well, he's a smaller church. So if he, like I said, if he can give out $400 in gas, and then he said he's going somewhere else. I forgot where he said he was going, somewhere else to bless some people. It seems like he's really out in his community. Didi's hilarious, Casey. I love when I see Didi comments in my comments. But if he can do what little with his little church, then I feel like I can help him out some. I'm gonna vet him first now. I'm gonna research it first. I'm gonna check him out first. I'm gonna look around first. Make sure, he gonna take my little money and do what he claimed he gonna do with it. But I think he's sincere. Let me see. Royal Court. Question: why do we put so much priority on time in church, but we can go out and party all night? Royal Court, I'm gonna say this. I used to, again, like I was just saying, I used to be that person that would be to church, because I was also a Sunday school teacher for a good long time, the adult main Sunday school teacher, for years. And you get to church around 9:00. And because we used to go to the church one city over, most times if we had something in between, we would stay there instead of driving back home 35 minutes or more. We would just stay there or eat in that city and then go home. So it have been times that we've gotten to church at 9:00 and didn't get home till close to 9:00 that night. I ain't never been down to the club. Now in my older age, I do enjoy going dancing. I didn't when I was married because my husband frowned upon that. So I respected him. So I love to dance. But while I was married and all that, I didn't go down to dance. But now that I go out dancing, I ain't never been dancing for 12 hours. Never been dancing 12 hours. If the party starts, at 9:00. If it's supposed to end at 1, it ends at 1. Most times they turn the lights on at 12:30. So if we're going to compare it to the party, even the party have rules. Even the party have time restraints and time limits. I always say this. Ever since I started on YouTube, and especially over in the beef sector, I've always said this. the world in some cases ain't got nothing on the church when it comes to being gangster. They really don't. So a lot of times in the church, we'll compare it to and I used to hear this all the time in the church. When I used to not go out, I used to hear it all the time in the church. We'll be down at the club. Y'all will still be at the club. Well, when I started going to the quote unquote club, I was like, the church folk said, these folks turning the light on. They ended it. They doing just what Bishop doing. All right, y'all ain't got to go home, but y'all gonna get the heck up out of here. So I don't know. I don't think it's really that way. They will play. Child, KC, you ain't been out in a long time. How they'll play Last Dance by Donna Summers. Honey, they turn them lights on and start playing Frankie Beverly and Maze. When you hear Frankie Beverly and Maze, you know it's time to go home. Before I Let Go, if you down at the old school party, they playing before I done left the church. I done left the church, didn't I? Let me get back to Bishop Boyd. If they playing Before I Let Go by Frankie Beverly and Maze, you best believe in about 5 minutes them lights gonna come on, and you're gonna hear Last Call for Alcohol. Let me y'all pray for me. I know y'all judging me. Pray for me.
So we gotta work together. Yeah. And so I'm happy. That's the part where I'm happy that this has happened. I told my wife driving here, I said, I had pastors from all over the world reaching out to me, chairman of deacon boards reaching out to me. But the person that reached out to me this afternoon driving here, can I say her name?
You say it.
Okay. Was Overseer Merlene Wilms.
Oh, well, you could definitely say it.
Okay. Great woman of God. She reached out to me and she said, son, you did well. And I said, yes, ma'am. And so it brought tears to my face. Why? Because she's a singer. She's my elder.
Yes. Sweetheart of a woman.
Elder. And when I first got consecrated as a bishop, I was like the youngest one here in the city of Trenton. And a lot of people was like, you're too young. You got to be 40. You got to be 50. And people like her supported me. Others too, Bishop Wilcox gave opportunity because we had integrity.
Right.
And so even...
Okay, Lady Steph, call your Uber, give somebody your keys, and take and go home. Lady Steph, I hated it. I think that was that you on Jay Wilson's panel? I don't think you got a chance to spoke. Was that you that came up? I thought I saw you in the chat. I may move this a little bit. I may move this a little bit to speed it up.
In this situation, for her to take time out of her busy schedule, it was. No, we would hate for that
sound like John Baptiste. I'm sorry. He's a soulful musician who serves as the band leader for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He leads all nominations with 11. I didn't even know this man had an album out. Where Have I Been? Yeah. Yeah, he said it on Twitter. I guess we're going to see. Along with chart toppers Justin Bieber, her. I'm very happy for her.
Yes.
Doja Cat. Billie Eilish, my daughter. And Lady Gaga.
Doja Cat. Y'all, kind of way off subject. My daughter recently got a cat. My youngest daughter recently got a cat about 3 months ago. And the cat name is Doja. So I'm going to tell y'all how much. I just said that I go down to the old school party. And I do. Because I love to dance. But they have to be, I only go to the ones it's got to be 30 or 35 and up. I ain't be trying to mess around with them children. But listen. But I don't know all of these. I don't know. Y'all, I spent years in church and didn't listen to secular music. Didn't wear makeup. Didn't wear earrings. So I don't know these singers and rappers and these celebrities and things. So the cat named Doja. I was like, that's a weird name for a cat. I found out today. Stig's Girl is here on YouTube. She told me, she said that's a performer. That's a lady. I think she's a rapper or something. I said, you know what? My daughter had that cat all that time. I didn't know that's why she named the cat that. But anyway, I think from here on, they're not really. I'll listen to this for the first time with y'all, to be honest. But I think from here on, they're just kind of doing announcements and wrap ups, and so thank you, moderators. I appreciate y'all so much for moderating for me, and Thank you, everybody that came in. Please hit the like button. I appreciate it. And again, check out Larry Reed. Check out Jay Wilson and their take on it. I got to go back and watch Jay Wilson from the beginning because I came in. I woke up and saw that he was on and saw that he was talking about this and kind of just hopped on the panel. So I had to start back from the beginning. But let me tell y'all something. I will tell y'all this. Jay Wilson don't like Bishop Boyd. Oh, something about Bishop Boyd rubs Jay Wilson the wrong way. The wrong way. Y'all got to go see. Jay Wilson was going off. He was like, and there was a lot of people in his comments that also said, he should have got cussed out. So we have differences. We're different. Everybody ain't got to be the same. Everybody don't have to think the same. Everybody don't have to agree. We can get together and discuss this. But at the end of the day, this Bishop Boyd was wrong. Overseer was wrong. The honoree was wrong. Miss Cruiser was wrong. Show us your bone. Regardless, at the end of the day, let's go away and learn something from this. Let's be better. Let's be on time. Let's take something away. So I'm going to say good night with that. I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving, gobble, gobble day. I hope that you enjoy whatever it is that you do. Don't let one day, one holiday, make you depressed, make you upset, take away your peace. Do whatever it is that you need to do, even if you're by yourself. Guess what? If you're by yourself on Thanksgiving, then you're in good company because you're with the best person ever, you. So remember that. Keep your spirits up. Y'all stay safe. Remember to wear your mask. Miss Cruiser, wear your mask. Miss Cruiser, don't be out here this weekend and then pull your mask down. Wear your mask, Miss Cruiser. See, I'm talking to myself. This is Miss Cruiser 2. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank y'all so much for coming in.
For sale. Best R&B performance. Snow gloves.
Socks
if you have
included as well.
Yeah, that's why I said socks, new socks. The only thing that can be gently used are the coats. So
Play the song Freedom by
if you want to bless someone, please bring in your coats. Thank you guys. It's an awesome interview. Bishop, they're loving on you, Bishop. Thank you guys for tuning in.
They come up here?